I'm going to be completely honest. I am not looking forward to today's decluttering challenge. In fact, I have been putting it off for probably a year or two. Today, I'm tackling sentimental items. Welcome back to the channel. If we haven't met yet, my name is Shauna and I love sharing easy decluttering and organizing tips. And as I said, today, tackling sentimental items, specifically my husband's and my memory box. We have a really big bin full of memories from our time together or from our childhood. And these are things that we don't use regularly or have displayed in our home. I did this project about 4 years ago. My grandparents had recently passed away at that time, and I was not allowing myself to grieve, so it was really impacting my health and my mental health, so I knew I needed a day to just sit and cry. So I basically sat on my couch the whole day. I went through the bins because we had at least 2 bins. I think it was 2 bins in a box of memories. I watched sappy movies, I ordered lunch in, and I allowed myself to grieve and go through memories. And that was wonderful. But as you can see, the bin is now overflowing. Not everything fits in it, so it is time to go through and see if there's anything I can get rid of now. The reason I am not looking forward to this is because I've been struggling watching my kids grow up. I have 2 kids in college and I have 1 in high school, and just dealing with any parenting guilt, which honestly, I don't know if I should have any, but it's hard to not feel like I missed out on things or I didn't take the time to get to know my kids, or just little things that it's mostly in my head, but I know that there's items in this bin that may trigger some big feelings. I also have PTSD. When I went through the bins 4 years ago, there were a lot of triggering items in the bins. I think I got rid of everything except for 1 photo, which I know is not in that bin. But sometimes we miss things when we declutter, and just anticipating what might be in there is very heavy. So, with that being said, here's me decluttering sentimental items, and I'll be sharing tips on how to do this yourself because I know sentimental items are probably one of the hardest things to declutter. So I'll be sharing tips and tricks on how to make it comfortable or as comfortable as possible and how to actually go through those items. So let's do this thing. When you are getting ready to tackle going through sentimental items, work in a space that's comfortable and has a flat surface. This is not the best setup for anyone who has back problems, but I love being on my couch and working in front of a movie and having my coffee table for a flat surface. Grab a drink and a snack. My snack of choice is always Sour Patch Kids because the sourness always counteracts any anxiety or PTSD feelings I'm having. And wear comfy clothes that you love. My comfy clothes, not flattering, but I feel just secure and comfy in them, and that's really important. And if you wear makeup, do yourself a favor, skip the makeup today, especially if you are a crier like I am, because you're just gonna cry it off and ruin your hard work. And then sort things into piles. I did loosely themed piles, like wedding things here, scrapbooks and albums there, my husband's items over here. I recommend this for a few reasons. If you're a sentimental person like I am, narrowing down our collections when we're low on space is a must. I don't want to keep a dozen items that remind me of every person that is no longer with me, but 1 or 2 items is all I really need or have space for. Having it in piles helps me really see what I have and if I need to downsize anymore. I also get overwhelmed when I jump from item to item, so if my brain can sit in one space or topic for a while, I find that it goes smoother overall. And if I need a break, it's really easy to figure out where I left off. And then this one is the hardest part for me, is being okay with feeling emotions. You will see the roller coaster that I went through for this project. And if I'm going to be 100% honest, when I first reviewed this footage, I planned on deleting it all and scrapping this entire video. But after some thinking about it, I decided I really do need to share this because it's a really important topic. And as someone who was afraid to feel vulnerable, I really haven't seen others be vulnerable about how hard sorting through sentimental items can be. I wanted to be there to show someone else that it's okay. It's okay to laugh, to cry, to feel frustrated or scared or guilty, overwhelmed, joyful, and everything in between. So thank you in advance for bearing with all the feels that I am feeling during this time. I don't think I said this already, but I am not going through my husband's items. I am just setting his items into a pile. I do sort through it just a little bit just to make sure nothing of mine is accidentally mixed in with his items. But I would not want somebody to get rid of something thinking it doesn't matter to me when really it does. So he will be going through his part of the bin at another time in the future, and I'm just focusing on my items today. A common reason why sentimental items are so hard to go through is because you feel like you should keep items even if you're never going to use them. So the book that I was just reading is our wedding guest book. There is a lot of sentimental attachment with this book because I made the book, and there's so many messages from people who have since passed. So I feel like I should keep it, but I'm never going to use it. So I actually decided to downsize the book. It was falling apart because it was not stored in the bin properly because it was just tossed in. And I'm never really going to think to look through it because it is buried in this bin. So I ended up, you'll see soon that I actually took the pages out of it and I ended up putting them into a binder. Other items, like there's a couple trophies I pulled out, there's my flute, I decided I needed to let them go. I'm never going to display the trophies, and with my jaw issues, I can't play the flute anymore because it is just so painful. Keeping them just doesn't make sense anymore. So reminding ourselves that memories are in the heart, not the item, can really help and allow us to part with items that are not serving us. I am going to take a pause in tips right now because when I am done looking at my husband's high school yearbook from his senior year, I have a lot of good friends from his graduating class. He and I didn't meet until college, but I'm friends with a lot of people he graduated with. But the next book that I pick up is actually my scrapbook from my freshman year of college. There's so many amazing memories in there, from meeting my husband and our first year of dating, inside jokes with the RA and all of the girls on my floor. Just like revisiting all those memories was amazing. So I'm like cloud 9 right now and just really enjoying it until I get towards the back and I'm flipping through papers, and right here I find the restraining order that I had to file. Why I kept this, especially when I'm still struggling with PTSD, I don't know. But this right here is the reason why I did not want to do this video. Because it's just really hard to watch myself struggle. But this is a reminder, it's okay to have a hard time going through things. I did set it aside to continue going through items as I tried to figure out what exactly I wanted to do. I knew I was going to have to face it, but I needed to mentally prepare myself. All right, back to regularly scheduled programming. We're going to get right back into tips. Another big reason why sentimental items are so hard to part with is the feeling of guilt, and this can come in so many different forms. Maybe an item brings back memories of relationships that have since dissolved. Maybe it was a gift from someone who asks about the item, but it's really not our taste, or maybe it's an item we really wanted and spent good money on, but now the excitement has worn off and we feel like we need to keep it because of the money. Whatever the reason is, we need to remember that our homes have to support us, be a place of rest and comfort, and we cannot keep everything. If it's not serving us, we need to let it go. The weight these items actually puts on our minds and bodies is not an easy thing to bear, and our homes shouldn't feel like that for us. I always think about one of my favorite TV shows as I declutter sentimental items and start feeling guilty about things. The mother-in-law was coming to visit unexpectedly, so items were being drug out of storage and being placed around the home in a panic because they knew that the items were expected to be on display and used daily. We shouldn't live our lives like this, worrying about what others will think if we do or don't have their gifts on display. A gift is meant to bring joy, and the meaning behind the gift, love, thoughtfulness, kindness even, doesn't disappear if the item does. The real connection is with the person, not the thing. If someone like the mother-in-law in the TV show expects to see gifts on display, it's okay to set boundaries like, I really appreciated the gift so much, but I just don't have the right space for it at the moment or anymore. Or, I loved using that for a while, but this season is just so different for me that I wasn't using it as much as I hoped to. So I passed it on to someone else for them to enjoy right now in the meantime. Our homes are a place of comfort and rest, not a storage unit for other people's expectations. I give you permission to release and let go. At this point in my sorting and going through items, I'm actually downsizing albums. There are some albums in here that are a lot of duplicate photos of other full scrapbooks and albums in here. So there was one album in here that had like 4 pages of photos, and that was it. I don't need to keep a full album for just those photos. I am currently going back through that scrapbook of my freshman year. I'm avoiding the entire back, but just going through and pulling out any pictures or items that I want to save that bring me happy memories. I do not have to keep everything. So I'm just doing that, and I'm creating a pile with just papers, ticket stubs, anything like that, and any of those that had been loose in the bin. And I'm going to make sure that I'm going to store them properly. My thought at this point was to create another binder with just putting these into plastic page protectors, like using paper and putting like tape on the items and taping them to the things. Is it going to be perfect? No. But is it better than what it is now? Absolutely. So I'm just trying to make sure that anything that goes in this bin are items we really want to keep, and that it is as small of an item as possible. I don't need a whole album for 4 pictures. So just trying to use the space wisely is what I'm really trying to do at this point. So my cat has been sleeping off screen on the back of the love seat where my dog is. And with the emotions of going through that scrapbook and finding the papers that I found, and then tearing apart our wedding guest book to downsize it and only keep the part that's really important, I was just all over the place emotionally. So he is very aware of everything I am doing right now. He might be a little terror, but this boy is such an empath. So as I'm looking through this next scrapbook and reading letters that my husband and I had written to each other during a really difficult point in our dating relationship, I think he really picked up on that, because he ended up coming over for a quick snuggle because his mommy was upset and just feeling very emotional. So I love this boy. He really is a good boy. I'm just so thankful that little pick-me-up really helped me get right back into the right mindset to finish the project strong. I was definitely in a very low point here. So when you get into that low point, if going through sentimental items is like very draining, stop what you're doing, watch a quick reel or video or put on a funny movie, something that is going to lift your spirits to get out of that funk and bring you back out of the darkness and into the light. At this point, I wasn't sure what to do next, so I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. So Mozzie comes back to make sure I'm okay, see if I need another little snuggle. Decided to eat some of my Sour Patch Kids, which honestly I've been munching on between takes of doing this voiceover. And I decide it's time to start packing items up. So there's items here that I'm not sure if my daughter is going to want. We wear the same size shoe. So when she gets married, will she want to wear my shoes? Will she want to use my veil? I'm not sure. The veils don't take up much room, so I'm actually putting them into a small Ziploc bag, and the bag actually is going to fit into the shoebox. So I feel like I'm conserving space. I'm putting like with like. It is working very well. One tip that I have not mentioned yet, which was going to be the number one tip I shared, was using the container method with this. This bin is the container for my husband's and my memories. If it gets full, something needs to go, hence me decluttering this. This is all we're allowed to keep. This is a big bin. We don't need that. A lot of the things that we love are displayed in our home. So we could even downsize this bin more if we really felt like it, but we do have the space for this bin. So knowing that whatever I keep has to fit into this bin, and if the bin doesn't close, something has to go, is something that I highly recommend when it comes to sentimental items. We cannot keep everything. So getting a container and just keeping what fits in there really helps keep things from being overwhelming. I think the thing that was the biggest struggle for me with going through these and what to keep is these two boxes right here. When my husband and I were dating, every single month anniversary, he would give me something heart-shaped. There were heart-shaped charms for necklaces or little gems that he would buy on eBay for a couple bucks. But I have two small boxes of them. I'm not going to wear the charms, and I don't know what to do with the loose gems. So they just sit in a box, and I have a lot of guilt about that, but I cannot bring myself to part with them. So something that I need to be doing is figuring out a way to take these gems and make them into something else, or find a way to display them. That needs to be a high priority for me this year. So right now, just quickly sorting through things. What am I going to keep? What is going into a declutter pile for donations? Or what am I going to see if other people want? Like, I know the trophies can go to a trophy shop and be reused. The flute can be donated to a music program. There's a blanket here that I'm going to see if another family member wants. And just trying to sort through things quickly, because when we get stuck on maybes is when we lose momentum. And then just going through the stack of papers, because I knew this was going to be hard. There's cards and Valentines from my kids in here to me. My daughter's first drawing is in here. This is where I knew it was going to kind of be a harder thing for me. And this is when I decided I can just keep everything. I'm going to put it into a small binder. I know I've mentioned this already. Put it in page protectors. And I almost put the binder back into the memory bin, but I actually ended up putting it with our photo albums. Yes, we have photo albums, and we don't look through them often, but there's times where I'll find my kids flipping through them. So if they see the binder in there, they'll flip through it and see little love notes that they've given to me, or drawings that they've done that mean a lot for me. So just kind of seeing I can look back and reflect upon them when they were little and the parenting journey, and they can be wow, mom kept this, that kind of thing, not to get all mushy and all of that. But that was something that I was very excited to not have all these be loose in the bin, and then make it into something that is like a tangible item that can be used. I found a paper in here as well that I thought I'd gotten rid of. So this was totally the highlight of the project. So a lot of lows, really big high. My birthday and Christmas are within days of each other. So I don't know, maybe it was a combined gift, but inside the box that my husband had wrapped up for me, it said, your gift is getting to go out to this fancy restaurant that I had wanted to go to. And I was all excited. And he's like, really? Like, look at the paper again. And on the bottom of the paper, in very small font, it said to go with what else? I'm going to cry because I love this so much. To go with what else is in this box. I'm like, what? So I picked the paper up. And underneath it was 2 tickets to go see The Lion King, that like the Broadway show that was on tour. It was coming local to us. And The Lion King is my favorite movie. I was like so excited, like best gift ever. Well, the night we went out to dinner and to The Lion King was the night he had proposed. So I was so excited to actually find that paper and a ticket stub to The Lion King. Totally went into the binder that I made up and was just, that was such a cool highlight to find as like the culmination of this project. So don't forget, there's a lot of lows when it goes, like a lot of lows and hard things when it comes to sentimental items, but there's a lot of good stuff too. I am very excited to have found this because it's been missing for a while. I have one for my daughter and my younger son, but my middle was missing. So now that I have his, I'm going to frame these and then hang them up somewhere in my home because I think they are just, they're so sweet. One of their elementary teachers made these for everyone in her class every year. So very glad I found this. And last but not least, here is a quick look at the binder that I threw together. It is not perfect, but it is so much better than having everything be loose and getting damaged more. So just the ripped up pages from our guest book, ticket stubs, notes from when my husband has gotten me flowers, various things like that, so we can flip through it and just like have all those good memories makes me so happy. And I actually took all the pages from our original scrapbook and put them into the same binder. And then I put the binder up in our room so we can flip through it when we're feeling all like sentimental and things like that. So it'll actually be used and not be stuck in a bin somewhere. So overall, I would say that was not horrible. It was easier in some aspects than I thought it would be and harder in others. I did find some PTSD triggering papers that I forgot I had put into a scrapbook. Why on earth I put them into a scrapbook, I don't know, but I do know that when I went through things 4 years ago, I did not look through scrapbooks. I went, oh, here's my college scrapbook, here's this scrapbook. I didn't look through them closely. So that would be why I found them. But now I can say with 100% certainty that there's nothing in this bin that's going to traumatize me in the future, which actually is a lot more freeing mentally than I thought it would be. So I am feeling a lot lighter. I am going to have my husband go through his side of the bin at some point, probably over the summer, just because being a teacher, there's really no like easy time to go through it during the school year. But I decluttered enough that the bin is about 3/4 full and I can put the lid on it. Feels really good. And I am really excited that the next time I go through this bin, I won't have like piles of like ticket stubs or little photos or anything that I'm going to have to like sift through. They're all in binders or photo albums. Those have all been put away. And it's going to be easier in the future to go through the bin when I decide I need to do that again. So as mentally taxing as that was, because let's face it, any kind of sentimental decluttering project is going to be mentally taxing, I think I'm going to count it a success. I'm very pleased with it. I'm very happy about it. Thank you so much for watching this, and I hope that these tips that I've shared today are really going to help when you decide to declutter your sentimental items in the future. I am rooting for you. I am supporting you. You got this. You got this. I believe in you. Thanks for watching. Happy organizing.